back to my Cessna for this flight on a cold and snowy day in December 2017. Although actually there is a gyrocopter theme to it, because I needed to fly up to Kirkbride to visit my instructor to get him to sign off my gyro license renewal. I could have posted the paperwork, I guess, but where's the fun in that? And I never like posting my logbook anywhere. So it was the Cessna for a flight up to Kirkbride, about 45 minutes in the 182 from Liverpool. If I gyroed it, it's definitely over 2 hours, and with the limited daylight this time of year and the fact it was really cold outside, this was just more suited to the Cessna. So there was ice on the apron at Liverpool, but the runway was completely clear, and here we are lined up for takeoff, runway 27. As we start the takeoff roll, you might be able to see slight interwind aileron just to counteract the crosswind from the left. It doesn't take long to get airborne. Cold day, high pressure, one up, less than half tanks. Tracking north up the Mersey past the famous Liverpool waterfront. Always captivated by the view at this point, although there aren't that many places that you could realistically look to land in the event of an engine out. We're limited 1500 feet, can't go above that, and in the fixed wing I tend to fly out 1500 feet just to give us the maximum number of options should the engine decide to quit. This is the northwestern tip of the Wirral Peninsula, and then Seaforth Docks, which is the exit point from the Liverpool zone. As we passed over Lancashire, the snow really began to build, and so did the cloud. So at this point I've got the autopilot engaged, and you might have seen I've just altered the heading bug there to put us into a slight right turn towards slightly clearer weather. Just appearing to the bottom left is Haweswater Reservoir. On a clear day I usually prefer to fly over the Central Fells, more over Windermere and then Ambleside and beyond towards Keswick. But it was solid cloud, solid overcast today, so the eastern route was the better option. And here we are just passing the northeastern tip of Haweswater. Again, the autopilot engaged heading, and Alt just commanded a left-hand roll as we begin to approach Kirkbride. I love the view looking southwest along Haweswater. So we've arrived at Kirkbride, currently flying the downwind leg for 10 right hand. I mean, given the rather unusual message on the radio at Kirkbride that the police were practicing pursuit on the runway, so I was requested to do a low fly past with all lights blazing. Apparently, if we did that, they would then get out of the way. So let's see if that works. So without flap, and knowing that I'm going around, I'm approaching a lot faster than normal here, around about 100 knots. And you'll be able to see the police just to the bottom left of the runway threshold there. So I'm going around now. And they get the message. I fly a circuit, and on my next approach, they're nowhere to be seen. It's not often you get a chance to buzz the police and get them to get out of your way. So here's our approach to land, and this time just turning base and going for first stage of flap. Turning final now, much slower. Typically you do approach slower than you'd imagine in the 182. When you're light, you want to be looking for a final approach speed around about 60 knots. The wing is very efficient and much faster than that, and you can find that you float for some distance. My turn-off is very early on. You're about to see it on the left in a moment, but you can also see that the runway is icy. Stall warner, and we're down on the mains. So because of the ice, we basically stayed off the brakes. Very long runway at Kirkbride, and just let the natural drag slow the aircraft. Somebody was having far too much fun up at Kirkbride. I've been on the ground for a couple of hours, but that was plenty long enough for the cloud to really descend, and I could see looking out over the fells that there was no chance of a direct route, as we see my police escort just parking themselves on the runway again. So this was going to require a pretty much mirror image of the flight up towards the eastern side of the fells. I'm lined up on runway 10 again. The police were at this point parked at the far end of the runway, and once again all my lights were on, and I was hoping that they got the message that I was about to take off. Bizarrely, they did not have a radio with them, so they couldn't actually hear the calls that we were making advising them of what the aircraft in the circuit were doing. But I knew that I was going to be up very, very early, and as you'll see, we passed them about 800 feet above. Once again passing the northeastern tip of Ullswater, heading south, but you can see now the cloud noticeably increased. The cloud tops of the lower layer somewhere in the region of 4,000 feet, and then there was a higher layer above. So I was forced to fly between the two. It's never particularly a comfortable situation in a single engine plane when you know you're over high ground. I am restricted IR rated, so the old IMC, so perfectly legal doing this, but it's not something normally I would choose to do. Although it is beautiful, certain sort of monochrome quality to the light. But at this point, the thing that's going through my mind is this is solid overcast all the way over the fells, and I know I've got to descend through that cloud at some point, which in summer, with a restricted IR, it's not a major issue. You can just fly the ILS into Liverpool. But it was -5 up here, and in an aircraft with no de-icing equipment, flying through that cloud would not have been a good idea. I'd have had significant ice build-up. So luckily, it did all pan out, and an opening did appear just as we were south of the fells. My fallback position, if that hadn't happened, is simply a 180 and a return to Kirkbride that I knew was clear, but it did all work out, as you can see. Let's overhead Wharton, RAF base. And now we're tracking the M57 as requested by Liverpool ATC, who'd cleared us number 1 to land on runway 27. You see there's a lot less snow down here. Well, there wasn't that much in Kirkbride either, it was all over the middle bit. We're looking out over there towards the new Runcorn Widnes Bridge. Just approaching Hale Village for our turn. Trying to keep speed up, the circuit was reasonably busy. So just using first stage of flap at this point, now going to second. And turning base to final for runway 27 at Liverpool. You can see the noticeable crab angle required there to counteract the crosswind from the left from the south. And we're down, just on the stall warner and on the mains first. Again, trying to avoid the brakes, even though Liverpool has been well de-iced. So as ever, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, you know what to do. Please do like and subscribe. Thank you.